Welcome back to Cryptolytics, giving you a fresh take on crypto analytics. Today, I'm going to go over a swing trading strategy for Solana and show some of the results. This one can kind of be automated, but for the most part, this will be a manual trading strategy because it uses the daily chart. So let's just get straight into it. Okay, so before we get started, if you could please do me a favor and smash the like button, that would be greatly appreciated. And if you like this content, then feel free to also subscribe and hit that bell notification too. And for that, I would be greatly appreciative. So let's not delay anymore and get straight into the strategy. So this is a modification of a strategy that I released a video for last year that uses this BB buy and sell indicator on the 2 hour to trade Solana. Now, back here, when I was using it, it made a lot more sense because price action kind of moved in a really nice way. Maybe it's because our buddy Sam was a prominent trader within Sol, most likely. So it seemed like price action kind of moved in a way that, well, at least to me, made a lot of sense. Whenever I traded it on, say, the 15-minute or the 1 hour or the 2 hour, price action just kind of made sense to me, and I was able to actually trade it with a high degree of success. However, since he's left the market, which is, around here, 8th of November. I think we remember this date all too well. If you've been in the crypto space for at least the last year, price action just doesn't quite move the same as it used to. So we kind of need to zoom out and reassess the situation and see what kind of strategies work really well with a high probability of success. And I think I've come up with one. So this indicator, the BB buy and sell, I've actually modified this. So it's open source, thankfully. So I've been able to modify the source code with the help of Bard and ChatGPT. I turned this into a strategy. Now I'm going to leave a link to this strategy in the description below. It won't be in the normal document. I'm going to make a separate document for this one. So this link won't be for all of the strategies, but I'll leave a link to the other strategies as well in that same section. So if you want to check those out, I've got previous videos on those as well. So feel free to check those out if you'd like. And I'll leave a link on the screen here to my video showing how you can automate these trading strategies. It's a full length tutorial, so requires some patience to get through, but I wanted to be as verbose as possible and give as much information as possible regarding it. So this is the modified BB buy and sell, and the reason why I had to modify it is because I wanted to also have a backtest date range restriction. So that way I could restrict the backtest date range. So that way it doesn't backtest all the way back to the beginning of time. Not as big a deal with Solana because it's pretty young, but I feel like in the future this will probably come in handy once Solana's been through a few cycles. Now these are the settings I've got on the screen here. I think these are all mostly default except the Bollinger length. However, maybe I did change some of these, so I'm not exactly sure. So these are the settings, and when you load up the indicator, and again, you'd have to load that in yourself by going into the Pine editor, for example, and going here to open, and then just go here to strategy. So it opens up a strategy template, and then you just basically paste the text from the document in here and then click add to chart. Or if you want to save it, you click save, and then it'll be in your My Scripts, and then you can just load it from in here. So you can see I've got a whole bunch that I've written. So that's the first indicator. Now, as you can see, when you look at the chart, if you followed this as per the candle color, because I have got this so it changes the candle color as per the flags, well, you would be all over the place. However, when modifying the code for this, in order to set it up as a strategy, I was able to modify it so it took better trades. So with this, what you have to basically follow it as a strategy. So you probably want to put this on its own chart, for example. And again, you can just put it on a chart and then get this all mocked up and then save it as a template, as I showed you in the last video, where I was talking about setting these up. So that way you can modify your chart and do it whatever you want and come back to it if you want to, or if you want to backtest this with some other tickers, then you can sort of do that. And the main thing you want to modify when modifying the strategy is this Bollinger Band length for the most part. That'll change the short and the long positions here. So you can modify the other stuff as well, obviously, but this is the one that gives the biggest changes to the results. So for the most part, you are following the flags. So where it says buy and sell, you're just following those flags, essentially. So if the colors of the candles change, then, well, it's probably not a good sign. It's probably a sign that the trade might start to go against you. So it's up to you what you do with that, but that's not really part of this strategy. So, if you see the candles start to change color, then maybe you take profit, or maybe you de-risk or something like that. Because as you can see in this case, if you de-risked from this long, then you would have saved yourself a little bit of money on that particular part of the trade. But that's not part of the strategy, so we're just going to move past that. So you're basically just trading these flags. essentially, the long and short. So you're just flipping from one side to the other. At the moment, for this particular strategy, I trade it 10x on Drift because on my other exchanges, I've got other strategies for Sol. So Drift is my long-term swing trading strategy exchange for Solana. It used to be Mango, but it is now Drift. So the next thing, okay, so you're wondering maybe what these little dots are. So these are your profit points. What I'm using for this is there's this indicator called tops and bottoms, and you can just find it by typing in tops and then slash. It's this one by LARP Capital, and they have just used the Lazy Bear cumulative volume index code. So what I like about this is it uses CVI, and I love CVD, cumulative volume delta, and cumulative volume index. I just feel like it's a really solid way to work out potential points for reversal and also work out the strength of a trend and, you know, if spot selling or what the dominant energy is. And in this case, it's working out when the dominant energy in a particular move is starting to reverse. So it's, I think, a really good spot to take profit. If it's literally on where your position is, then I'd probably wait for the next one. And you could probably use it to re-enter if you wanted to as well, but that's up to you. So if you're in a short here, let's see an example where there hasn't been any recently. Any examples where you're in a trade and you've been able to add to the position? So I guess here, but that wouldn't have worked out because then it went short right here. If you do look at these settings and you look all the way back, you'll see this. And if you did this and then you shorted, that would have been pretty savage because it went up another 80%. So you probably would have been stopped out of that. There is no stop loss in this strategy. It's up to you where you put your stop loss. You could put it like well above structure or whatever. The whole point of the stop loss in this case though, is it's like a saving grace for if the proverbial really hits the fan. So I wouldn't recommend putting your stop loss really close, but relatively close so that stuff like this doesn't happen. Because if you're in this long, this was a big loss. You could tell that was a big loss. That's 40%. So this is the sort of savage stuff that can happen. So, you know, if you're putting your stop loss there, well, it would have been there the way you flipped anyway, but you would have made up for it with this 67% trade. I personally like to take profit on large swings, especially when they're large positions, just shaving a little bit off wherever I can. These actually appear at the start of the candle as well, but I haven't been able to figure out how to add alerts to this. I'm pretty sure if you go here, it's probably this one or this one. And one of those is for long and one of those is for short. So there would be a way to do this. It's just not easy. It'd be something that I would consider rewriting into this so I can work out exactly what the values are, which ones buy and which ones sell. And if I could write it and just put it in as part of this strategy, then that would be cool. I might consider doing that in the future, but I don't know how to add the alerts. So you pretty much need to check this. You need to check this like probably every day. If you want to know where to take profit on this, on each move using the CVI. And why wouldn't you just trade the CVI to buy and sell well? Because then you would be in a long here and then you potentially could get wiped out with moves like that, 74%. So that's probably why they're more profit points. So it's a trend trading strategy, and then you're taking off little bits at a time every time you see these dots. So there was a good profit point there, good profit point there. Then the long trade was here at $14, which we're pretty much at again. And then the first profit point was after 68%. And then the second profit point was right here, which was at 74%. And then it went short. So you actually banked a little bit more profit by taking these profit points here, just a little bit more, rather than just going straight from long to short to long to short. So another example here. So this was the short trade, and you could see it came all the way down here. This was, if you just took it on candle close, or you would have seen the dot at some point in the day, so maybe you had a chance to take profit there, but let's be realistic. First profit point was at the 19% mark in profit on the trade. So you banked in that, and then the actual trade flipped here. Let's just go from here to here. That's only 8.88%. So lucky number in China. Well, you need at least another 5 of those 8s, but anyway. So that's where this can come in handy, because you can bank more profit by doing this. So long here, for example, and you can see with this. So again, you would have seen this at the start of the day at 19%, because it tells you pretty much at the start of the candle, but it can disappear and repaint. So if Solana just starts mooning, well, it'll remove from here because it's calculating the CVI. So let's just say you took profit at the end of the day or the start of the open of the next candle close, another 888. Wow, this is a really lucky strategy potentially. Chinese people out there will know what I'm talking about. So that's pretty much that. Your trade flipped then at break even. So that means you're still able to bank a little bit of profit before it flipped back to break even and reversed you into the short trade. So where was the first profit point? That was right here. Now I actually changed the settings on this so I could try and make it work with the daily, because usually I was using the 3-day chart to work out reversals, and the 3-day chart actually put the reversal down here at 14.3, but I think the default settings were 4. Okay, default settings is 3. So if you just multiply by 3, but the problem is you just get too many profit points. But at least this one had a much better profit point here. If you want to be more aggressive with your profit points, then this would be the setting you use, probably 9, I would say. Because look, that got your profit point up there. It just means you're scaling out a lot more in your position. So you actually scaled out some there and then some here. Maybe a re-entry here if you wish. So you could probably maybe re-add to your position here, and then you want that safety and security of being in a good position for the trend. And then if you want to re-add to your position, you can if you want. If you've already taken off 2 lots of profit, then maybe you re-enter here and then take that back off here for the flip. And then again, if you re-entered here, that probably wouldn't be that big a deal, because you would have taken profit here, re-entered here, and then flipped the position there, taken profit there, re-entered there, and then, well, that would have kind of sucked, but you wouldn't have lost that much because it's a very small amount between there. So if you want to be more aggressive with your profit taking, then 9 would be your setting. If you want to be conservative with your profit taking, I would say 14, maybe 13, but 13 gave you this. How annoying would that be, taking profit on this short at 1863 and then it just dropping another 50 billion%? It wasn't even that much, but anyway, I was going to go 14. It dropped another from that profit point. It was like there, wasn't it? 50%. Wow, no way. I'd rather be patient personally. But if you're just taking like 20% off, 10% or something like that, then it's probably not that big a deal. Let's just have a look at the strategy tester, shall we? For this strategy. So again, this is a 10x strategy. I'm using Sol 10x, and the results since the, is this beginning of time? Let's restrict to the start of the bear market. We'll just go 2022 in January, so we can see what went down in terms of losses and where we're at now. So if you did this strategy from the start of last year and you just followed it, and this is not including like the extra that you make from banking profits before the trade flips, right? So this is an estimation. It might be more, most likely would be more than this rather than less, if anything, in terms of the profit. So 10x strategy, again, so that's including the leverage. So if I just take that away, then the performance is 115% in the last year, which is not too bad, but this is a 10x strategy. So because you're dealing with really long-term swing trades. So in a recent video, I mentioned that I thought that Sol was gonna probably turn around here. Remember I said this short-term reversal point, and look, we're reversing. And the way I found this is with this, using the default settings there. So this is another thing. You can just use the 3 days for the profit points, but I think that would get a bit confusing to do that. And you can't just multiply by 3, which is annoying because it's 3 days. So, you know, if you're going 1 day, just multiply this value by 3. You would think that would give the same days, but it does not. Let's just go 9 anyway. I think it's kind of nice to have more options when it comes to taking profit. I'm actually a little bit more aggressive than most, I would say, when it comes to profit taking. So that's pretty much the strategy. As you can see, it gives some pretty good results. You do get some bung trades like this one, for example. I think that's this. Now that would have been pretty savage. I think when you saw the news about FTX and all that, that's probably when you probably start to get out of your positions or like move your stop losses a lot tighter, because yeah, that kind of stuff can really move markets. And as you can see, it did that in there, and that was this loss here. So if that black swan didn't occur, then I would say this probably would have been better in terms of its results, but nevertheless, very long-term swing trading strategy, this one. Pretty simple set of rules, essentially, just opening long when it tells you to long, flipping to short when it tells you to short, with optional take profits in between at whatever level, whichever one you want, 14 or 9, I think probably the best of the two. If you are more aggressive with your profit points and you want to do some re-entries, then 9's probably your one. But if you just want to sort of occasionally take profit, then maybe 14. I kind of like 9, but basically you can muck around and see what you like. And you'll probably need to modify these if you're testing this on other digital assets, other tickers. So like if you wanted to do it on Matic or something like that, you could give that a shot. But this is for Sol particularly. So I'll leave that up to you to go and find what else you think this will work on. But yeah, that's the strategy. And as you can see in the backtest, it works pretty well. You wouldn't want to be using a very small account for this, if that makes sense, because imagine if your account's really small and you do a 10x $1,000 position. That's liquidation right there. So that's Black Swan though. I mean, that's a massive outlier. This would probably take out a big chunk of your account. So be realistic with how much you put into this. Let's just be realistic, right? What's a safe amount of leverage? 3x. I think 3x is very safe, in my opinion, because the 3x in the Black Swan still would have knocked you out. Damn, this Black Swan is savage, but look at this win here afterwards. So, yeah, these two wins would have made up for it completely, essentially. But anyway, I'll leave you to justify how you would like to use this and have a play with it and see what you think. I just think this is a really nice strategy because, you know, you've got a couple of months between trades, which is really nice. If you have a play with these and you figure out what the alert settings are for these, then, you know, you can feel free to share it with other people in the description below, or let me know also what your thoughts are on the strategy. And if you think there's anything that could be done to this to make it better, share it with the community. Up to you. But that's what I'm doing here anyway. So I'm guessing it's one of these two, the chars, or characters. And yeah, by default, I'm pretty sure this is like a weird asterisk thing, the character. I've replaced it with a dot because it's just much less offensive. The asterisks look really ugly to me, so I just replaced this with a dot. So you can do that if you'd like. There's settings here as well, and you can play with those if you like, but I would take a note of the default settings before playing around with it. Or you can just reset the settings to the defaults, and that'll do that as well. But then you have to change the star back to something nicer. So that's a strategy. I think it's pretty good. Have a look at it, see what you think. Let me know in the comment what you think about it. It's the BB buy and sell with tops and bottoms, take profit and re-entry using the cumulative volume index. I'll leave a link to the tops and bottom indicator in the description as well, so you can check that out if you want, but otherwise you just find it by typing in tops and then slash, and I think that would really filter out everything so you can find large capitals. 4,800 people watching it, so it's quite a few people. So anyway, I hope you found that interesting. Just remember, nothing in this video is financial advice. It's just education. It's up to you what you do with this strategy, and I hope it helps. And maybe you can add something else to it to give extra confirmation, like, you know, Fibonacci's or whatever. So if you're in a short and you want to take profit at like the 618, for example, which is what I did. I had a short in, as I mentioned previously, and that was my take profit right at the 618, which is exactly where it bounced from. So that's pretty cool. And the analysis is basically just showing with broken structure. Now this is underside resistance. My guess was we would bounce back up to this underside resistance. I think it was on Twitter. You can go on my Twitter and have a look, and you can see that that was what I called for this. So you can literally go on Twitter and have a look. The one on Twitter is the 3-day because it's a cleaner looking chart, but for trading, I use this one, the 1-day. And that's why I figured I should do a video on it to explain it a little better. So yeah, I mean, the 618, we bounced off it. If we do fail to break this underside resistance, and even this Fibonacci here, as you can see, acted in the past as a significant level, then $10. I mean, that's pretty nuts, $10. So I hope you found that helpful. Remember, if you want to open exchange accounts with OKX and Pinex, I've got referral links in the description below, and you get discounts on fees, of course, and it supports the channel. And you can check out the other links as well for everything else with regards to the Wonder Trading and all the other platforms that I use and that I've done videos on. All of my referral links are to platforms that I've done videos on in the past. So yeah, feel free to check those out and check out the videos that I've made with regards to those in the past. So keep safe out there. This is Cryptolytics signing out. Have a good one.